That's a great segue into the next question in regards to weight training versus strength conditioning for the MMA athlete. Your thoughts on that?
I love weight training, but as not weight training for anything other than your sport.
Right.
So bodybuilders will weight train, but they'll weight train for hypertrophy or aesthetics, whereas we're weight training to not look good but perform. So.
Right.
A bodybuilder might do lat pull downs, whereas we'll do heavy weighted chins. A bodybuilder might do, squats with a light weight, whereas we're gonna go heavy single leg squats or heavy lunges, plyos. So we're training for our sport to perform. The looks will come because of it, because we're doing a lot of compound movements. So aesthetically, how many of my guys that you see don't look good, in the cage. So aesthetically they look fine, but they can also perform.
Yeah. And you have a center. You have the Adrenaline Performance Center.
Yeah.
Why don't you just talk about what people can do there and where it's located? And
it's in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's a great center in Montreal. We're going to actually expand to a new location, but it's a great center for all athletes and for all regular average people. So I have a mix of your average everyday weekend warrior to your Olympic gold medalist. So it's a fun kind of mix. And people all train together. It's a good atmosphere.
Cool. Okay, so it's UFC 129.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. And the biggest event in the history of the UFC. 55,000 people will be screaming, shouting, and cheering all our Canadians here at the Rogers Center. You've trained some athletes and some of the fighters. Why don't you tell the people you trained and what your thoughts on how they're going to perform?
Well, Rory Mcdonald's fighting on the Spike card, and I'm most excited about him because he has a tough opponent, and he's actually going to show how much he's progressed and how serious a threat he is at 170. He's unreal. I think Rory Mcdonald will stop and be the first person to stop Nate Diaz. I think he's gonna win by TKO.
Wow.
Aviv Jabouin fighting Pablo Garza. I think it's Pablo Garza. And I think Eve's going to have a great performance. I'm excited about Eve. John McDessie's fighting. He's fighting a guy that we actually had on our team on the Ultimate Fighter show on George's team, Kyle Watson. And I think John will look great. I think style-wise, it's a good fight for him. Ivan Menjivar's fighting, I think, Antonio Banuelos, or maybe it's not Antonio Banuelos. But I think he's fighting a guy that Miguel Torres beat in Denver.
Oh, right.
I'm excited about all my guys, and George obviously is fighting at Jake Shields. I think he's gonna stop Jake Shields. He's gonna be the first person to really lay beating on Jake.
Really?
Yeah, I think just style-wise, it's just a great fight for George and not a good fight for Jake.
Excellent. I'm gonna flip back actually and ask you a question about training.
Yeah.
So I'm putting myself in the shoes of a guy who's just starting out. I've got jiu-jitsu on Monday. I've got Muay Thai on Wednesdays, and I got wrestling on Fridays. How many times a week should I be doing a strength conditioning program or a workout? And where should I fit that in with all those other three? So I'm not training for a fight, but I have 3 disciplines that I do.
So if it's that easy, I mean that's a great scenario if you're only doing those 3 times a week. But if it's only Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're doing 3 different disciplines, it's pretty easy to put in strength conditioning wherever you want. I mean, you can put it on. If you're sparring, then I will try and take it easy the day of and the day before sparring because you want to be fresh.
Right.
So I won't train my guys too hard on a Friday if they're sparring on Saturdays. But I would say if you're training twice a day, I like to break down with all my guys. I like to sit down and make their schedule. And the most important thing we do is we put an X, meaning the most important discipline of that day, on your schedule. So if you have Muay Thai, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, strength and conditioning, and sparring, let's say, so 6. Each day will have a concentration. So if your main sparring day is on Saturday, that should be your focus day. So if you do anything else, it has to rely around your sparring is your most important day. Sunday's usually off. Let's say Monday is boxing. So your schedule will rely around boxing. Everything comes second to boxing. If you want to do strength and conditioning, it's not a heavy day, or it's after you box, so you're fresh for boxing. Tuesday maybe wrestling, so same idea. If you're wrestling at night, you can do something light in the morning, maybe technique or some strength and conditioning, but it can't overload that your main focus is wrestling. Wednesday, let's say, is our main strength and conditioning day, so that's going to be where I'm going to kill you, but you better come in fresh for that day. I don't want to hear that, you know, you have a tough sparring session at night, or, you know, we'll arrange your program so that Wednesday's your key strength and conditioning day,
Right.
and you work on around there, and then you plug in pieces of your puzzle. So if you have 1 day a week or 2 days a week where everything revolves around one aspect, you can mix and match and put in. Some guys box and wrestle the same day, but one wrestling has to be the focus, whereas the boxing might be just a light sparring or mixed, and vice versa. So it works out in the end.
Cool, that's cool. And for the trainers, because there's a lot of trainers out there who are going to be watching this, and the guys who necessarily don't have that strength and conditioning background for MMA athletes, what advice can you give to them to make sure that they're training their athletes in their gyms the right way?
Just find, if you don't have any experience in actual training athletes, and you're a personal trainer, or you get an athlete and you've just inherited an athlete and he wants to train with you, try and find mentors that are well established, that you can learn from. Go to seminars, go to summits, go do a mentor program. You know, you can come to Montreal, have a mentor program, go to Mike Boyle in Boston, find guys that you respect their work, and learn from them. Take bits and pieces of different people, and you know, try and come up with your own training system that's safe, number one, and that's productive, number two, that you're actually going to produce results.
Excellent. And finally, I want you to leave the athletes with you know, a thought about strength and conditioning, and how they should implement it, or some advice that you can give to them. You know, there's athletes that are just starting out. There's high school athletes. There's pros who want to get to the level where GSPs are. I'm sure you've trained all type from all levels. So if you can give some advice to you know, your last words, your Jonathan Chaimberg words of wisdom.
Just if you're passionate about the sport and you want to be an athlete, then train like an athlete. So you want to be sport specific. What that means is, if you're in the gym, don't just go there to lift weights and get strong, or lift heavy weights. Or heavy weights are great, but you got to combine it with doing the right things. So power work, plyos, you know, agility work. You know, learn how to maneuver through a ladder, through cone drills. Get strong, get faster. You want to work on all aspects. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. You want to, you know, just like George is great in wrestling, boxing, he has everything he's good at. And when you come to the gym, you should be able to excel in everything. So you should be able to jump high, jump far, be fast, be strong. Work on everything that you don't usually, you haven't usually worked on in the past, and try and be an athlete. That's the one thing I try and stress, is that a lot of people train and they want to be an MMA fighter, or they want to be a UFC fighter, or whatever sport they're at. I try and mold athletes, and that's the only thing I want to leave with, is try and do athletic exercises. So whether it be, if you've seen a primetime show with Rashad, he's doing parachute sprints in the park, he's doing ladder drills, he's pushing sled, he's lifting heavy weight, he's slamming medicine balls. But the funny thing is, Rashad and Russell Martin, who's in a completely different sport, they'll train similar. Their conditioning will be different because it's a different work-rest ratio in a different sport. But the basis is train like an athlete, get strong, get fast, get powerful, and that's what you should focus on. Whether you're a hockey player, a baseball player, a tennis player, an MMA athlete, you have to basically train the principles, stay the same.
There you go. That's awesome. Great words. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. One last thing before we go.
Yeah.
You think GSP is going to win this fight? You think he's going to destroy them? So what that's going to do is set up a fight, perhaps, between Silva and GSP.
Yeah.
I want your thoughts on how you think GSP will do in regards to getting himself to the weight that he needs to get, and to the, I guess, a little bit stronger than he needs to get when he's fighting Silva. What do you think about that?
I think George is actually very strong right now, and he is at 194 when he's walking around before a fight. So it's not like he's a small welterweight. To go up to fight Silva, you'd probably have to get up to around 202, 201, maybe 200 pounds if they're going to fight at a catch weight.
Yeah.
And at a catch weight, it would probably be, you're talking, sorry.
Room service, no worries.
If he fights at that weight, it would probably have to be putting on some muscle, some good muscle, changing his diet around. So hopefully George Lockhart will be involved in that. And
that's a nutrition guy.
He's awesome. Fit for Fighters, I think the website's called, and he's amazing. And hopefully he'll change it around his training a bit to put on a bit more muscle, but lean muscle and keep his speed, because when you put on a lot of weight fast, you don't want to lose your speed, and that's important. So he'll cross that bridge when he gets there, but I have no doubt George will do the right thing.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jonathan.
Oh, my pleasure.
Awesome. Guys, bringing you the best of breed. This is the best of the best. Strength and conditioning coach, MMA and UFC, Jonathan Chaimberg. Thanks a lot, and good luck to you guys. Funk Roberts from funkmma.com and MMAontario.ca with Jonathan Chaimberg.